from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Those numbers that we see here are not adequate. We need to dig deeper.
More questions again today as the city of Fargo continues to dive deep into the issue of refugee resettlement. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. Mike and Andrea have the night off. But just who is the city turning to for answers? Valley News Team's immigration and relocation reporter Bradford Eric has our report.
The Fargo Human Rights Commission is tasked with educating the city on civil rights issues as well as monitoring community relations. On top of that, now they're being asked to compile information as it relates to the refugee program in the city. Fargo City Commissioners have been asking tough questions about the program and its costs. That's why the commission asked Partnership for a New American Economy to provide this information, a breakdown of immigrant and refugee contributions to the FM economy. The stats were for the greater FM area, not Fargo, and a commission member tells me because the numbers of foreign-born individuals living in just Fargo are too small a sample size. But who is Partnership for a New American Economy? Their website says they are, quote, streamlining, modernizing, and rationalizing our immigration system. Their co-chairs include CEO and president of Disney, Bob Iger, the same Disney that told 250 employees in October of 2014 they were being fired, but only after they trained their replacements who were immigrants on temporary visas. Bill Marriott, executive chairman for the hotel giant, who in 2007 wrote a letter to President Bush asking for reforms so employers can, quote, confidently hire immigrants to fill jobs that are going unfilled. So what's the cost to the city for refugee resettlement? Tack on another $50 as the HRC voted to join the Welcoming Cities and Counties initiative last month. The commission tells me it's a great thing to be a part of the organization. Their resources will be helpful, and the interest in making Fargo a welcoming city is there. The multi-billionaire George Soros donates hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to the foundation. The same man who also funds an organization that works to defend Osama bin Laden's bodyguard. Also being funded by Soros, the Center for Constitutional Rights, an organization that wants to, quote, demand an end to the ongoing injustices of the post-9/11 national security reforms. These are who the city of Fargo and the Human Rights Commission is looking toward for answers. So what was ultimately decided? A subcommittee will be formed to include community partners and further develop the type of information that they feel they need to gather. Outside Fargo City Hall, Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
The topic of resettlement program will once again be heard in front of the City Commission. Discussion of an audit of Lutheran Social Services North Dakota is listed on the agenda for Monday's upcoming meeting. Authorities are asking for your help finding a missing woman in northwestern Minnesota who hasn't been seen since Sunday. The Becker County Sheriff's Office says 28-year-old Haley Soyring of Elbow Lake Village, which is just northwest of Alexandria, was reported missing by her family. Sheriff's Office is helping the White Earth Police Department with this case, so anyone who might have seen Soyring or knows where she might be, they're asked to call police. Charges have been dropped against a former substitute teacher in Dilworth, Glinton, Felton, who was accused of having sex with students. Tara Nichols was suspended and then reassigned at the end of January. This is after the school district learned of the investigation. Court documents say a mother of a student contacted investigators after being concerned a substitute teacher was sending her son nude pictures and inappropriate messages. Clay County prosecutors cited a Minnesota court rule that allows them to drop a charge without the court's approval. Prosecutor Pam Harris says the teen involved in this case was not a student under Nichols' supervision at the time of the alleged incident. Cold temperatures and gray skies. Most of us here in the valley could definitely use a warm-up. Let's check right in with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson for a look at tonight's conditions. Hutch?
Well, we continue with the clouds here throughout most of the valley. There is some sunshine out in the western and central Dakotas. And where we have sun, we have warm temperatures approaching 60 degrees there. With patience, it will be arriving here in the valley, but for tonight, we remain cool. A lot of 40s in our neck of the woods. Bemidji this hour, 39 degrees. We'll be slipping through the 40s as we go through the 8 o'clock hour on our way into the 30s. Wind, though, will switch around and become southerly as we go through the evening, and south winds typically bring milder temperatures. That's what's going to happen in this case. I'll have details on how warm we get and what the weekend is looking up like here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
A Warren, Minnesota man is dead after crashing head-on into a semi around 7 this morning. 24-year-old David Knutson was killed. The patrol says Knutson was eastbound on Highway 1 in Marshall County. That's when he crossed the center line and struck the front driver's side of the westbound semi. The semi-truck wound up in a cornfield on fire after the collision. The driver of the semi, 46-year-old Mark Oon of Thief River Falls, was not hurt. Knutson was transported to Sanford Hospital in Thief River, where he was pronounced dead. The cause of that accident is still under investigation. The downtown Grand Forks Social Detox Center is open for business, and the director says it will not become a free hotel. Clients walk into a secure entryway, and that's where they're screened to make sure they don't need any immediate medical attention before they're led into the facility. Then they're given a simple place to sleep, the use of a shower, clothes, and sandwiches. Plus, clients will receive counseling services to try and get them started down a better path in life.
Like I said, I don't want it to be the free hotel that people just go and start abusing the services, but it will be definitely willing to save lives too when you look at being able to provide a safe place for people to spend the night. And
the new center should also make the job of police out on the streets a bit easier. Police now have a place to take highly intoxicated homeless people who have not committed any crime. The center is expected to operate on an annual budget of over $300,000, and it's funded by grants and money from the city, state, and Altru Hospital. North Dakotans will decide if the state should legalize medical marijuana in addition to choosing a president on November 8th. This is one of the numerous measures you will vote on. Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop breaks down Measure 5, which involves medical marijuana.
Measure 5 is 34 pages in length and also called the North Dakota Compassionate Care Act. If approved, it would legalize the use of medical marijuana, which means patients that suffer from cancer, PTSD, epilepsy, and more would be eligible to receive 3 ounces of cannabis. Ray Morgan is the petition chairman. He says the measure is based on Delaware, Montana, and Arizona laws for medical marijuana.
We wanted this to be very regulated so that the citizens of North Dakota would be comfortable in making sure that this was, the rules and regulations were very restrictive.
If passed, the measure would be overseen by the North Dakota Department of Health. Police would have access to a database of patients. An application fee would be required, and the dispensaries would have to be operated as nonprofits.
We didn't want big corporations to get involved in this. Okay. We just felt that it wouldn't be prudent to have a big corporation come in.
The North Dakota Department of Health released a memo back in July on the facts and figures on the costs of the program. The cost ringing in at $8.7 million for the first 2 years. Morgan says he thinks the Department of Health's figures are overdone.
Some of these figures that they came up with we find a little bit disturbing. Also, too, that there's never been a piece of legislation that the legislature has ever written or a measure that has been drawn up that's been absolutely perfect.
Now, if the measure is approved, it would take effect within 30 days. Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
There is no formal opposition to the North Dakota measure. Minnesota has already passed laws about medical marijuana. Patients cannot smoke the plant. Dispensaries have been set up throughout the state, and patients only have access to pill or oil form. To learn more about the other measures you will be voting on, click on the election section of our website. Later on Valley News Live at 6, a new way to decorate your home during the fall season. That story is next.
Typically, we have lows in the mid-30s this time of the year. This morning, 29-hour low. Not too balmy in the afternoon either, but above average temperatures are heading our way. Details are straight ahead.
You're watching Valley News Live on TV, online, and on the go. Always on, wherever you are, whenever you need to know. Valley News Live.